went, I understand why people work so hard to get there. Now, I'm also an exception because my sister, she lives in Las Vegas, so I can go there anytime. I can go see any show. And I'm like, okay, so they can just stay in a hotel. My sister lives like 20 minutes from the strip. I can go there anytime. But when you actually get to win and you get to be like at the hotel and you get to do all the activities, it's a little bit different than what you think. And so I will tell you, I remember the first day, just arriving at the airport and having a limo waiting for you, just makes you feel like a total rock star. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh yeah. And so actually Nick said that. He's like, oh, you know you're a total pimp when you have a limo waiting for you, because there's a guy that had their little sign when we arrived today, and I was like, yep, that's how you feel when you get presents. But singing with vector people just has a different spin on it, so it's definitely pretty awesome. But I will tell you that the next day, the whole day, basically, for those of you who golf, you could go golf, but I thought it was so awesome. I just hung out in the spa all day, got to hang out with Kathy Vasquez, got to hang out with Chanda, got to hang out with Lauren Bing. We just sat in the steam room, went to the sauna, hung out in the hot tub, went and got our massages, came back, drank some champagne. And I felt like one of those really rich, one of those really rich people just sit around and have nothing else better to do. I was like, oh, this is awesome. But I will tell you, the night of the big dinner, that's sick. I remember sitting talking with Michael Dobson, and we were sipping on Dom. And by the way, I'd never had Dom before, and so I was like, and I saw all these bottles just filling in there. And I was just like, things they were saying about that too. And so I will tell you, I remember looking around and seeing all these different bottles of Dom Perignon, and I was just like, I was sitting here sipping it with Michael Dobson, and I was just like, you just can feel success. And so there's all these people, you could just feel it. There's all these powerful vector people, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And so I was taking the picture with Bruce Goodman, and he gives you this little coin. It's actually a chip worth $100 that you get to go bet with. And I'm very cheap. I was actually going to cash it in and save it, but I decided I can't do it instead. Anyway, but I will let you guys know that during my dinner, we went to Michael Mina's, and the whole entire dinner, I got to sit next to Bruce Goodman, and he told me about the good old days of Vector. And I will tell you what, there's some stuff that happened back in the day that was very interesting to find out. It was very, very entertaining. But afterwards, we found out approximately how much each of our meals was. It was funny. I sat next to Bruce, and we had this little menu. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wow, that sounds good. Oh, this looks really good. And to myself, I'm thinking, man, which one am I going to get? And so Bruce is like, so what do you think, Patty? And I was like, well, I just don't know which one I'm going to get out of these. He's like, no, there's no choosing. You get all of them. This is your entire course. And I was like, there was 8 things on there. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to eat all of that. But we found out later, after looking at the bill, which we got to see, it averaged about $1,000 a person for the meal. I always felt sinful afterwards. I was like, I just ate a $1,000 meal. That's pretty insane. But afterwards, we went and had a great time. So I will tell you that personally, it's things like President's Banquet that make me grateful to be a district manager. And so, not that I'm not grateful for all the things that we already have and all the opportunities that we get, but I will tell you that just to know how much a company will reward us for doing a good job. Not just doing our jobs, but when we excel and we do a really great job and put our hard work in, they not only show us with massive bonuses and all these other contests, but they also just put that little cherry on top, like sending us to Vegas and just totally pampering us, which I think is just awesome. And so one of the things, I don't know if you guys know, but there's the Taste of President's Banquet. And so if you don't believe me how awesome President's Banquet's going to be, just make it to taste. And I remember, I wasn't sure, like I said, I go to Vegas all the time anyway, and so I remember getting to taste President's Banquet. By the way, anyone know how much it takes? $35,000. Oh, wonderful. $35,000 in the month of September, which is ridiculously doable. I think everybody in this room should be there. If you're not, then I'll not be happy with you. Yes. Come on. Anyway, but I will let you guys know that that 35,000. Just come check it out. And apparently last year I thought it was awesome. We were behind these ropes. I felt like very exclusive. Like I got to talk to all these people, and we were like talking to people. I was introducing myself to people who were like big names in the company, and I was like, hi, I'm Patty, and they're like, oh yeah, we know who you are. I was like, oh, thanks. That's cool. So I'm very, very excited that people knew who I was. But I will tell you that Lloyd just informed me that even though I thought last year's Taste of pbanq was awesome, like I thought it was pretty exquisite. I'm a huge sushi lover, and they had like trays and trays of sushi, and so I was just going to have other things on the menu as well as it would be. But anyway, I just got to know all these different people, and Lloyd was like, last year's Taste of President's Banquet isn't even close to what it is going to be this year. He's like, last year's lame. And I was like, really? Well, I'm excited for this year. So I hope that you guys are super excited to hit 35,000 in the month of September. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that right now. Because I'm going to talk about major differences between 2007 and 2008. Because I'm going to let you guys know that I already told you that last year was my first year of President's Banquet. Okay, I've been a district manager since 2005. So how was last year my first year? Well, let me give you some background. 2007. Okay, you might want to write down some numbers just to keep on pace with me. I would have a PowerPoint, but you can see. Anyway, in 2007 I recruited, I don't know, you might have to take a breath for this one. I recruited a whopping 52 people for the whole campaign. That's like 10 people a month. That's like ridiculous. That's like stupid, retarded. I'm embarrassed to say that I've only recruited 52 people in 2007. Anyway, let me break it down for you. In the newspaper, I recruited 8. On campus, I recruited 10, so that was my biggest recruit. PRs, I launched 0. Yeah. And web, I launched 2. Friends and family, I launched 1. So I don't really think it takes like much rocket science to figure out what I needed to do differently here, right? You can kind of just look at those things and be like, oh, well, I probably should have done this, this, and this. But I will tell you, I really didn't know that that was going to happen. Okay, so I recruited 52 people. In fall of 2007, I sold $54,000. And for some reason, I didn't really piece that one together, that if I only recruited 52 people, I'd only sell $54,000. So, I will tell you, having a $54,000 campaign really, really sucks. I think that was the first campaign ever I had really contemplated leaving the business. And so I remember I had this awesome assistant manager, sales manager, Sean McGinnis, who really kept me motivated to want to keep going, but I was just like, man, this freaking sucks. Like, I was like struggling. Like, this is where I had like 3 people at my team meetings. I had like $2,000 or $3,000 sales reports, and I was like, ah. And I will tell you that my main attitude going into that summer going into that fall was I worked really hard in the summer, and I thought that meant something. I thought, hey, since I worked hard, I deserve to have business brought to me. I deserve to do really well this fall. I just thought I deserved to get the business handed to me because I already worked my ass off for 4 months, right? And something that John Berghoff once said is, success doesn't respond well to deserve. And so what you feel like you deserve. And so I will tell you, this fall, something that really motivated me was fear. So I was so afraid of, I didn't want to have another $54,000 campaign because I remember how bad that felt. And also, I told you I'm a pretty frugal person, and I remember sitting on a conference call with what were considered the playmakers at the time, and Boyd put out this contest called Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Was. And basically, you had to put $500 in, and if you won President's Banquet, you'd get back, and then on top of and match it. If you didn't hit President's Banquet, you lost it. And I was like, I remember he was like, okay, well, I'm going to go around one by one, just make sure everybody's in. So and he would ask person by person, and I was like thinking, oh my gosh, can I be like, can I think about it? Like, I was like, $500, are you serious?